Sup fools, how's it going? You won't believe what I just found. I'm right here at Hollywood Boulevard, like all the stars. Hollywood Boulevard. And I finally found my own star. Check this out. Beautiful. Titty. Sup fools, how's it going? Welcome to another Tutorial Thursday, Titty. And today we're gonna talk about how you can get your own Hollywood star created in editing. I've done some research, and actually to get a Hollywood star, like a real star, you have to be famous for 5 years and have to have some expertise in television, radio, film, and so on. Well, I ain't famous, but I'm pretty good at editing, and today I'm going to show you how you can put your own name on a Hollywood star. We are using After Effects today, so what we need is a shot of the actual Hollywood Boulevard Walk of Fame, which we got here, and then we see the stars, and then when we go down we need a star, a blank star without any names on it. This is step one. If you don't live in Hollywood or nearby and you can't get a shot like this, you can get my shot. I'm gonna put the video in the description so you can just go from here, from the Hollywood sign. You can start here and then go down to the star, and then you can just add your own name. If you are a Patreon of mine, I'm gonna add this entire project file into my Patreon. So if you're too lazy to edit it yourself, you can just download it and just replace the name just like that. Anyways, if you're willing to build it yourself, let's begin. The first thing we need is a shot. The second thing we need is a picture as a reference so we know what it actually looks like. And we have this picture here. So the first thing we have to do is whenever it starts, whenever we see the star, this is the first frame, I'm gonna cut this away so we only have this sequence, this moment here. So we're gonna remove the star for now. So what we need to do is track our footage. For that, we click on our thing, then on tracker, and now track camera. Now we have to wait for a bit. Great, our 3D camera is tracked. Now you can see when you click on your 3D camera, all these little trackers, see all that, gives us information about the movement. Now what I need is capture exactly the movement at this point. So it takes those 3 trackers, and I hope those exist for the most of the shot. So basically I just select a bunch, right click, create solid and camera. Now see this pink thing? That's a solid. That means it's just color, it doesn't do really anything, it's just there, ugly, but that basically shows me the movement of the camera. See, it's tracked to our movement. Ignore the foot is going to be important later, but you see how it's like moves the same way my star moves. So now it's time to add our name and a logo to it. I showed you earlier we have this picture. Okay, we're just gonna remove our solid real quick. I don't need this picture. I don't need the words. It's mostly for reference, but I also gonna use the logo of the camera because Phil Vlog, I'm a filmmaker, so I'm gonna use this film logo. Draw a rough mass. 1 second. There we go. Around this. Feather it with F. Put it in a better position, like here. I also think it has to be smaller, but I'm gonna adjust the size later. So now I have my solid here, right, which is moving the way my star is moving. Now I'm gonna take the transform information. That means everything, the size, the movement, position, all of this information, I'm gonna copy it onto my logo. Make a 3D object, and now when I remove the solid, see, there it is. The rotation is wrong, so I'm going to adjust the rotation with Z rotation. Move it a little down here and increase the size. So that already looks like it belongs there. Okay, now when we go through our photos, we see how it's moving. It's moving the same way like our star. Again, ignore the foot. The foot is going to be important later. So now we have to add my name. So I'm going to click up here, text tool, and flip-flop. There it is. So I tried to find a good Hollywood star font, but there is not really a font. So we're gonna just go. I'm gonna go with Arial, regular. It always works. And the color. Select it again. The color. Just gonna pick the gold. Let's check our star again. On our star, the words, you can see them better because they have a little. It's a shadow really because it's three-dimensional, but it does look like it's like an outline in the letters. So we're gonna do that again too. I'm gonna give my name an outline of black, 2 pixels. Okay, that's good enough. So remember when we copy pasted the transform information of our solid, we're gonna do the same thing. Transform. Copy this information onto our name, and obviously we have to make it a 3D layer. So it's right here now. Now we just have to rotate it, make it bigger. Again, it's always important to look at references, the sizes, the way it actually looks. Now we see it's moving with our star. So there's a few things why it doesn't look photorealistic. And the most important thing is we have to add motion blur. And we do that by just clicking this thing. You see this is the motion blur tab. We add it to the logo and we add it to our name. So with the camera movement, it also gives our name some motion blur. This is one important thing. The other thing is we go here in the modes and we play around with those modes, and overlay usually works just fine. So you see it basically looks like this gold here. One more thing. We add a little bit of transparency. Let's say 94%. So it's basically a little transparent, just a little bit. And you see how this here is a little blurry because nothing is 100% sharp. In video, nothing is 100% sharp. So we're gonna add a little blurriness to our words. I right click, effect, blur and sharpen, Gaussian blur, and we're gonna add, this is in pixels, so that would be like 100 pixels blurry. This is so blurry we can't see it anymore. We basically look at this edge and see how blurry that is, this edge, and we're going to try to simulate that. Maybe 3 is good. And if that's not visible enough, we can go back with the transparency higher, or even duplicate our name. So it's more visible. So now this here is done. Now the extra part here. You see how I wipe with my foot over. I'm basically trying to get rid of this leaf here with my foot. I did that on purpose. It's always good to cover up an effect by having something in front of the effect. In that case, my foot with my cool new shoes. I got them for my birthday, by the way. What I have to do now is I duplicate my footage. Bring that to the very top. So now you see how this effect disappears. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the rotor brush tool, and this gets very advanced. If you don't want to move on, this is done. Like the entire effect with the name is done. This is just some extra stuff if you really want to. So what I'm gonna do is use the rotor brush tool. And what I'm going to do is cut my foot out And sometimes you have to do these things frame by frame, but the rear brush tool of After Effects got so smart that you just have to do like one frame mostly, and then just correct the rest. So the first one you're working on has to be as clean as possible. And then when you hit space, it just does the rest by itself, but you see it didn't work that well. So never mind, we're doing this manually. So we're gonna go through this frame by frame and cutting out our foot, because then in the end the foot is going to be in front of our effect. Done. So now when we look at it, you see that the foot is actually in front of our effect, and that's exactly what we want. That sells the illusion that the effect is real. So we can adjust our effect a little bit and make it a little more realistic. I always would increase the feather. Feather is always like how smooth it is. We can reduce the chatter a little bit. This is a very fast swipe, so you don't have to do that much. See, very fast. And here we have our final effect. That's it for this video. If you learned anything, just give it a thumbs up. That helps me a lot. And if you didn't learn anything or you have questions, please drop them down in the comments. I'm going to answer all of them. And again, if you don't want to do this yourself, you can get the project file on my Patreon. And if you do want to do it yourself, feel free to watch this tutorial again. And this is how you get your own Hollywood star in editing. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next tutorial Thursday. Titty.